Hey, hope you guys are doing well. Edgar's from Soul Marketer here, and in this video I want to quickly show you how to create a survey for free in System.io. And if you stick around to the end, I have a surprise for you, but more on that later. But as for now, obviously this is, you can see in the back end, this is the System.io dashboard. I'm going to be using a free account for this one, just to show you that you don't need a paid account to actually get started. And in this case, I just went to funnels. I just went to websites, sales funnels. I just you can create a new funnel over here, or just, have some funnel here already, like a test funnel. And what you want to do first, which is kind of vital, is that it really depends on, if you want to use the survey element, it really depends on the page type. So in this case, when I'm creating, I'm adding a step, I'm going to create a page, right? Like set up a page, and I'm going to add the survey element in it so I can ask people questions. But not all pages are created equally, not all page types. So in this case, I would recommend selecting a squeeze page, as opposed to, if you select info page, you will not have the option to create a survey element. So just keep that in mind. That might be a common mistake. But yeah, in this case, I just have a page, so I'm going to go and edit that page, and this is just a blank page, and that's my face. And over here, as you can see on the left side, what you need to find is the survey element. So just drag it in, and yeah, first of all, let's just click on it. So let's just quickly dive through all the options, all the things that we can do. So just so you know, there's to each of these surveys, there's basically two stages. The first one is you collect the information, and then there's the second one, which is kind of like the final step. There's three different types of final steps there can be. So at first, we'll just set up the questions, and then we'll get to the final step, which is, we'll go through all three options and what they mean. So over here, before we add the questions, you can see there's a lot of formatting options. Over here, obviously the font and the color. You can just kind of play around with these things. These ones kind of are self-explanatory, but still. Change the title font size, the subtitle font size. This is optional, the subtitle, but still you can technically add it. I think it was optional, yeah, if nothing has changed. And yeah, you can change all the font colors over here, answer colors, all this stuff is pretty straightforward. Border radius, yeah, you can make it more rounded corners. And margin padding, that's as any page or funnel builder or whatever, you can just kind of adjust the the spacing of things. But yeah, if we go to the survey itself over here, step one, survey out of the two steps, let's click on edit survey questions. So we can add questions here, right? So let's say, this is the first one. If you click on it, and it's just, what color is the sky, right? So that can be one. I'll just add a description here just so we can see where it's actually located on the page. And you have two types of answers you can do. So in this case, it's either just a kind of like a multiple choice, they can click on it, or we can make it an open-ended answer as well. So there's two types of options. In this case, for this one, we're just going to do just pick one of the three. So we'll do blue, white. I guess it can kind of be white grayish, so let's do yellow and red, right? So we can do something like that. And again, this, I'm just kind of creating it as a quiz, which I guess it's kind of a use as well, but here I'm kind of testing the knowledge of my audience. But the best use for these types of surveys would be to collect information. So let's say you would ask your potential clients questions like, what is your yearly revenue or monthly revenue or whatever, right? So you can ask questions like that. You can see the ones that have the right answers. You can kind of get in touch with them, or who those people are. So in this case, I'm just doing baseline questions, but the survey kind of functionality would probably work best for collecting information, not for testing anyone's knowledge or personality or whatever. But yeah, these are the answers. And over here, you can see you can pick tags. So if you have a free account, this is not really that relevant, because you can only have one tag on a free account, right? So it's there's three options here already. If you want to do separate tags, it already doesn't work. But this is basically, you can do, let's say you ask them what kind of specific questions, specific qualifying questions, and you can tag them with these specific tags, right? Based on their answers. If they answered this question, they can have this tag, right? If they answer with this answer, basically you can tag them with a different tag. But yeah, with a free account, there's only one, so there's not much purpose for it. But yeah, we'll do that. If you want to add an answer, you click on here. If you don't want to delete one, click on here. There's also this is actually what I did just now. There's no save button. I just automatically gravitated towards the blue button, but it's not the save button. So you just click on the X at the top. And you can see here's the question, and here's kind of the description, which is not mandatory. We can go back and edit it. We can delete this and see what it looks like. See, you can just do the question just to not to overcrowd the whole thing. And let's do another one. Let's go back. If we click on back, it takes us to the overview of all the questions. So let's add a question. Let's click on it and let's do, something else. Something like, I don't know, if we're talking about colors, what's your favorite color, right? Description, you can add it if you want, or the subtitle rather. And the colors would be, I don't know, something like blue, red, and then we can do green. And let's do a fourth one. We can test it out. Open-ended answer, right? We can do that. So let's try it out. Let's see what happens. Let's go back. And we have 2 questions now. So you can obviously rearrange them. You can delete them. You can do all that stuff. But let's go back. Let's save it. And before we go and test it out, which we can do now as well, but before we do that, there's also a final step over here. If we click on it, you can see here, choose an action, display final step, right? So there's basically, there's 3 types of, like once they fill out the 2 questions, in this case, it can be 10 or whatever, there must be some sort of a final action, right? So there's 3 types. Display final step, which is basically they put in their name and email, which I would highly recommend just collecting their information so you can tie all this information to the leads, which we'll see in a second what that actually looks like. You can check each of these leads that has filled out this survey. You can go check their answers later, whenever, a month later if you want. So that's the one. We can go take a look what it looks like. Let's click on preview up top. So they answer both questions. They click on this. They type in, test, whatever, or let's do yellow. Let's do that, right? And then they check it in. And here they put in their information and it takes them to the thank you page. So that's one, right? So you would also need a thank you page as the next page under, let's actually show it. Let's go back. So you would need another page. Once it stops loading, you would need an add a step, thank you page, or a confirmation page, whatever you want to do. And scroll down, it was someplace here, thank you page. Save. Right, that's the next page. So once they fill out, they land on this page where you can say, thank you for the information, or you deliver what you promised. Maybe you promised, let's say if they fill out your survey, your quick 2-minute survey, you give them your free book, right? So you can do something like this. Thank you, here's my free book as promised, or whatever else your incentive might be to get more people to fill out this quiz or survey. But yeah, for that you would need the thank you page. So let's go back to the original page. Let's click on edit page. And as for the other 2 options, let's click on the survey element, final step, display final step. We looked at that. There's also open a pop-up, and pop-ups are over here. Pop-ups can be different things. We click on here, and you can see there's a couple of example ones, right? There's one, and then there's the other one. So basically, once they fill out, they can watch a video or also fill out a form. Same as this, only it's a pop-up. I don't know what the logical reason for that would be, but technically that's an option. If you need a pop-up, that's a function, right? So you can just either edit one of these or create a new one and then just connect it basically to this survey as the final step over here. So it would look, let's test it out actually. Let's see what it looks like. So let's click on the element, open a pop-up and select the pop-up. Let's say pop-up 2. I think that was the video one. Let's save it. Let's fill it out. First, second, and a pop-up comes up. So that's, maybe there's a practical reason. I can't come up with one for myself. I never have. But maybe there is something. So, you can go check that out. And the third one is if we select redirect. So once they fill it out, they get directed to some sort of a page, right? So let's actually test it out. So now we have added the link, right? Redirect to this link. Save changes. Let's preview. So let's fill out the survey, click once, click on this one, and it takes us to Google because I put the Google link in there, right? So that's the third option. But I highly recommend using the display final step, and we're going to test it out in a second and see how that actually reflects. Also, on the final step, I would rearrange these. More common to do this, first name first, and then email, as opposed to the other way. It might be confusing to people and they might just, give up on this thing. So do first name and then email. By default, it gives you email and then first name, which is, it might be confusing. So let's click on Save Changes. Let's go fill it out. Let's click on Preview. So now we will actually tie this to a specific lead. Let's say, yeah, like I said before, you send out an email to your list and you're like, I want to find out more about you, whatever, my followers, my newsletters, people, and I'll ask you 10 questions, answer them truthfully, and in the end, I'll give you my new free book or whatever, kind of like a lead magnet type of situation, just to incentivize people. So in this case, it would be they respond to the survey, they put in their name, and they obviously they fill it out. Once we actually, let's go back. Let's have a thank you page. Let's just click on this. We actually need to have a thank you page. Now we have one. So let's go and test it out now. I just didn't publish a thank you page. That's why it didn't take us anywhere. So let's click on it. Let's do that. See, once we click on it, it doesn't work. So let's go back. Let's edit. I think I know what the issue might be, but we'll see in a second. Click on the button, submit form, no redirection. That's my problem here. That's my mistake. So what you want it to do is you want to click on to the next step. So once they click on the button, it takes them to the next step, which in this case would be that thank you page. You can technically take them to another page and all that stuff as well, but in this case, to the next step. Also, you can change the button text and color, all that stuff here. Button text was over here. This is the main text. I don't know. Net results, right? And over here, subtext, you can technically delete it. So, third time, fingers crossed. Let's just do this, that, and let's fill it out. Let's do this, submit results. There we go, right? So here's the book. You can have like a button that instead of saying join community, download my book, right? So something like that. And if we go back, if we actually check the contacts list, here is the contact. I filled it out multiple times, so there might be like mixed results. But if we click on it, and the results will be over here, right? Over here. I filled it out, many times. So that's why over here it's kind of, it gives me the same survey multiple times. So each time I fill it out, the results, show up over here. But you can click on each result and you can see what they answered. Over here, over here, over here, over here, right? So yeah, that's kind of the short version. I don't think there's any limitations if you do like a, survey. I don't remember, at least I've never reached a limit of, let's say maybe there's like only 10 questions you can ask or 20 or whatever. Never reached it. I wouldn't go too crazy anyway. I would keep it between like 3 and 7. That would probably be the optimal. And then, people will fall off in great numbers if you make it really long. That the incentive must be really good if you want to, if you want to have people answer many questions. But yeah, you can either build it from scratch like this, or you can go check out in the description, as I promised before, there's a surprise in the end. You can find my quiz funnel template below that will not only help you find out more about your ideal customer by asking these questions, but also seamlessly transition them into offering a relevant product for them to buy, all on autopilot. So I'm basically just kind of shortcutting the process and making your life easier. So go check that out. It's completely free. And it's in the description, might be in the pinned comment or whatever, just check below. But yeah, that's it for this video, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye.